Sejam bem-vindos a mais um vídeo do Combo Infinito. Eu sou o Ariel.
Aqui é Lepitecos, estou na Polônia e você está onde?
Vamos aqui reagir a um novo Dying to Know, que é aquele programa de atualizações do Dying Light 2. Mas antes da gente ir pro assunto, fique aqui com o recado do nosso novo parceiro. Tá em busca de um canal que indique ótimos jogos do Game Pass? Segue nossa recomendação no link da descrição e conheça o canal Big Play, que traz vídeos com edições divertidas focadas no Xbox. Ele mesmo, Lepitecos. Vamos lá então.
Grande Big Play.
Vamos lá então. O Dying to Know é o terceiro episódio. Ele saiu no canal da IGN. Então, como vocês estão vendo aqui, nós estamos assistindo pelo canal deles. Pode contar.
3, 2, 1, vai!
Vamos ver. Dying Light, que vai ser lançado neste ano.
Hi everyone, my name is Timon Smektawa and I'm the lead game designer at Techland.
Tem legenda em
Welcome
inglês?
to the Gamescom edition of Dying
Acho que a
to Know.
legenda é do
You
vídeo.
can watch the previous episodes of the show on our YouTube channel.
Fica mó confuso.
They reveal many details about the game and showcase unique gameplay videos. So if you still haven't seen them, you know what to do. Last time we showed you the monsters, our special infected enemies. So today, let's talk about how to fight them.
Vou mostrar como
And not
lutar
only
contra
them,
os
but
monstros.
also the other big threats you will encounter in the world of Dying Light 2, which are us, humans. Unfortunately, humans tend to be the most cruel and brutal species out there, especially during an apocalypse. Before we talk about fighting, let's start with the
Não precisaria
basics.
ter legenda lá se
How
o cara
do
tá
you
falando
move around
inglês,
the
né?
city? If you watched our previous episodes,
Será
you
que é
know
tipo o
that a
Jacan,
large
quando fala
portion of the
português,
city's
eles acham
population
que vão
has
entender?
changed into
Não é possível, o cara
monsters
tá falando
roaming
bem.
the streets. That's why it's extremely difficult to move around, unless you can run, climb, brawl, swing and jump, as the best option to explore the world of Dying Light 2 is parkour. Let's talk about it with my first guest, Kacper Kowalczuk, senior game programmer. Kacper, you are in a team directly responsible for creating parkour movement in Dying Light 2. So, what can you tell the Gamescom viewers about it?
Well, we're really excited for the players to see what we've prepared for them. They will finally feel this
Esse cenário deles é
amazing freedom of
maravilhoso,
movement
cara.
in a city built to support parkour from the ground up. Even the highest building is not an obstacle anymore, but a parkour tool to help you get
Depois de
higher.
terminar aqui eu vou.
Even those familiar with Dying Light 1 will be pleasantly surprised.
Pra quem não jogou
because we
Dying
took
Light, o
all that
parkour
we
é um
learned
dos
from
elementos
parkour in DL1
principais do
and
jogo,
built
assim, é o
everything
que faz o
from
jogo ser
scratch.
especial em
It's a
muitas
more
maneiras.
challenging way than to simply upgrade it, but it's more rewarding as well.
Okay, but from my perspective, and I think your perspective as well, creating a realistic movement in an FPP game is very, very difficult. And we have spent a lot of time and resources to make it
FPP?
physical and exciting
First person?
at the same time.
First person
So,
parkour.
how do you feel about it, Kacper?
Ah,
We really wanted to improve players' perception of their avatar's body and of what happens to it during parkour. The animators had their hands full, but it definitely makes you feel like a real traceur, which is a person who professionally does parkour. It's all thanks to dozens or even hundreds of new animations. It's especially visible
Caraca.
with ropes, pipelines, monkey bars, etc. With the increased number of animations, players can almost physically feel each movement while climbing the buildings. It gives them a realistic parkour experience and is also surprisingly simple to master, even for beginners. The city allows players to traverse it effectively as soon as they get there, and their mobility increases more as they learn new skills. There comes a time when players start noticing synergies between movements, and that's when the real fun begins. You literally feel like flowing through the environment. They also find out that the city
Que legal
itself
isso aí, hein,
helps them
Eu acho que
with
vai ser um-
parkour.
Já sentia
And
mesmo
what
essa
might have seemed
parada
an
no
obstacle at
primeiro.
the beginning
É.
E era uma
becomes
coisa
an
que o
asset once they
Assassin's
learn
Creed
how to
tinha
use
de
it.
melhor no primeiro
Okay,
jogo,
but
que era fazer o parkour em
can
cima
be
dos
more
telhados.
than just a
Parecia
way
que
to
tava
traverse the
flutuando,
city.
assim.
E parece
In
que hoje o
Dying Light
Assassin's
2,
Creed
it's quite
regrediu
handy
nesse
in
aspecto
combat too.
de
Yes.
fluidez
For example,
do parkour.
I could stun my opponent
É,
with a powerful
foi pro outro
blow,
lado, né?
then use elements
É.
of parkour to rebound from him and kick another
Mas
one.
o Dying Light
He's
é um
also
exemplo de
stunned
jogo
now,
de
so I
mundo
can rebound
aberto
from
que
him
consegue
too.
manter esse
By combining parkour and
elemento do
combat,
parkour.
a skillful player can wreak havoc on both humans and
Calma,
the
tá no
infected
segundo jogo. Deixa quando
without
chegar no
even
17º.
touching the ground.
Well, that sounds amazing.
Ah, não é anual, né,
Kacper,
então?
Thank you for joining us and thank you for explaining us how the game's parkour system works. And I believe you, the same as I, just can't wait for people to see it in action themselves.
Definitely.
So thank you once again. Take care.
Gamescom
So
Edition.
let's talk more about how you can use parkour not only for traversal, but also for combat. And speaking
Isso é legal
of
também,
combat,
pensar no
my
parkour
next
como
guest
combate.
is Matt Courtois, lead technical gameplay animator. Matt, ça va?
Ça va, merci.
Thanks for joining us.
Francês?
I would like to start with something that was
Ça va,
quite difficult for
merci,
us,
francês.
if you remember, at the very beginning
Se ele
of the
começar a falar
project.
francês aqui, eu posso
How
traduzir
to
pra vocês, de
present melee
repente.
combat from first person perspective.
Oh, I remember.
Eu assisti uma série
You
toda
actually just said,
belga.
Creating
Sei algumas
satisfying
palavras.
melee combat from a first-person perspective, that's a real challenge.
Eu assisto anime
That's why
desde
we
sou
spent
criança,
many,
só entendo
many weeks iterating
algumas
it,
coisas.
improving
E
it
Algumas
só
coisas
que-
dá pra gente
until
entender
we
já,
got
cara.
E só o que não interessa,
We
tipo
feel we
Baka.
created something special, and we're very excited to discover
Hajime!
how players will
Konoyaru.
react.
Nanda-to!
So what do you think
Bakaru,
will
é.
excite them the most?
I guess, you know, we've worked very hard for our combat to be visceral. So we created many exciting and immersive elements, such as what we call progressive hit reactions. So it's basically
Progressive
consecutive
hit
hits on enemies will
reaction.
enhance their reactions. They will react differently based on the weapon category you're using, based on the body parts you're targeting. So you can stun them, you can trip them over, you can
Isso
cut
é
off their
legal.
limbs, which
Isso tá
might
trazendo
sound
uma complexidade
louca.
enorme pro jogo,
But
cara.
it's also cool,
Eu tô
right?
começando a
It is
entender
also very
por que o
useful
jogo não é tão
and
impressionante visualmente, porque eles tiveram que gastar recursos com outras coisas.
Tipo, o lugar que você bate no cara importa pra reação dele? Não, é uma coisa normal da gente ver. Assim, existe, claro, né? Quando, sei lá, você dá um tiro na perna.
Olha que louco,
Mas é muito,
But
olha,
also,
muito louco
generally
mesmo.
speaking, to highlight players' power and to
Às vezes
convey
dá-
as much
Dá vontade,
satisfaction
dá curiosidade de
as
fazer
possible.
uns,
And I think it's
uns
safe to say
instantes,
that
assim.
immersion is very important in the world of Dying Light 2. It's post-apocalyptic.
E, mano, como é que
so
o cara
it's
saiu
very
girando
brutal
daquele
and
jeito
very
ali, velho?
demanding. So to survive, you really need to step up your game. So I don't know, maybe you have some tips for the players, maybe you think
Esse é um
there's
caso de
something
jogo
they should
adiado pra
focus
poder
on?
deixar melhor,
My
sabe?
best advice would be to be creative in combat. So, like you just mentioned with Casper.
Exatamente isso aí, Matheus Avelino. Bakaru, Konoyaru.
Are very connected. They're even intertwined, right? Allowing players to combine one with the other very easily, very smoothly. So technically, you can use the environment in combat, of course.
Você tem uma palavra em japonês preferida?
Or
Suke, por causa do Luffy. Tudo que ele vê, aparece um inimigo mega blaster na frente deles, baita perigo, ele olha pra habilidade do inimigo e fala, incrível, o Suke dele. Não sei se é Suke ou Sugei, tá ligado?
Your options
Não
are
é su-
almost
eu
endless.
sei que incrível é
That's what we call
Sugoi também. né?
creative
É,
combat.
o jeito que ele fala é assim, deve ter algumas maneiras.
É, deve ter uns...
Okay,
Eu fico esperando ele falar toda vez.
And thank you for that, and
Eu
thank
voltei
you
a
for
assistir,
sharing
tô no-
all of the details.
Na luta
And
do
thank
Luffy
you for
contra
joining
o
us.
Crocodile.
Ah, um dos 7 corsários,
We've used
nossa,
over
mano.
3,000 animations of
Tops.
jumps, grips, and other parkour moves to create a few
Essa-
network
Cara, ele é
skills
aquele
that can
Shibaki.
be mixed and combined.
Então, espera.
So every
É,
player can find
essa
her
parte
or
que você
his
tá aí,
own
ela
way to
é
survive in the city.
um game changer
In a
pra mim.
minute, you will see that
Bem
in
legal.
our new gameplay trailer. But first,
É, tipo, fez eu entender melhor o que é o One Piece. Daí pra frente, mano, é só alegria.
today on techlandgg.com, we have another gift for you. For those who are already exploring the Dying Light universe in the first game, we have a unique item, the Brilliant Hammer.
Acho que deve
a
ser pro
weapon
Dying Light
from
1.
Dying Light 2, which you can use in
Aí,
Dying
ó.
Light 1. Go
A
to
arma do Dying Light
techlandgg
2 no 1.
and grab it. And if
Caramba, a
you
quantidade
don't
de
feel
conteúdo
like
que tem da
fighting
Light 1,
right
meu
now,
Deus.
You can get some free posters, wallpapers, or even Aiden's
Esses
special
fizeram
outfit.
muita
As
coisa,
you can
apoiaram
see,
o jogo
it's
por muitos
worth to
anos.
visit
O 2 vai sim também.
techlandgg.com, but
Com
not
certeza.
at this very moment, because now it's time to watch our new gameplay
Opa.
trailer.
Aê, bora!
Here it is.
Gameplays.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like.
Não
before
é o Troy
all this.
Baker, mas
Não
poderia ser.
Ué, mas parece o mesmo que a
Like
gente
many
viu
others.
Mas isso
na
é
Gamescom.
People had their ambitions, plans,
Gameplay?
lives.
É, a gente viu, até falamos da voz dele, né?
Started it.
Foi
Sim,
na...
mas
na...
esse início, né? Não o gameplay.
É, tomara que tenha um gameplay mesmo.
Villador.
Nossa, hamburgão da hora lá.
They tell me they had a vision.
Tô com fome já.
They had hope. And soon, One vision broke into many different ones.
Olha, até falei que tive vertigem aí.
Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Até agora é igual mesmo.
É igualzinho.
Bird met a broken leg.
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck!
Pablo Henrique, isso aqui é o Dying Light 2, ele não saiu ainda, mas o Dying Light 1 tem pra PC.
The Bazaar needs good people.
E o 2 terá também.
Sim.
Sai dia 7 de dezembro.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
Cortaram na hora que o cara cortou.
Say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
Exatamente o mesmo de ontem.
É o mesmo trailer. Só não tô hateando ainda porque ainda tem mais programa. Apesar do trailer ser maravilhoso, eu gostei muito. Ainda mais para dos combates.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
The trailer presented quite a few new tools of destruction that you will soon get to use in Dying Light 2. So now, let's talk with the people that are actually making them. Marek Musiał, lead 3D weapon artist.
Hi.
And Szymon Strauss, the producer of the weapons team.
Hello.
Os caras só trabalham com as coisas mais perigosas.
The first question, maybe to Marek, is... Marek, can you explain how we as a team have approached the process of creating weapons of Dying Light 2?
Yes, we wanted the weapons to be credible. It's been a long time since the apocalypse and everything of value has already been looted. There aren't any stores to buy a new weapon, so you need to build your equipment from what you find. That's why we had to design dozens of unique weapons practically from scratch.
And actually, that was our design pillar, the modern
Salve aí,
Dark
Marcel
Ages.
Neres. Estamos em live aqui pra galera do YouTube. Tô mandando um salve pro cara da live aqui, fiquem tranquilos.
Civilization that moved back people nearly to the Middle Ages. So there are no laws, no rules, no technologies. That's why our weapons, we try to create them in a most deadly and violent way.
Mm-hmm. And working with that concept, where did you get the inspirations from?
Well, citizens of Villedor, they could only use stuff they found in the world. So we thought we should do exactly the same. We scavenge. So mostly we've been looking for our inspiration in stores selling agricultural, construction, military tools.
But also at places like junkyards.
Actually, that's true. So right now we've got nearly 200 of them in-game. And even though some of them may look very simple, we've got also quite the opposite, like, I don't know, semi-automatic crossbow.
I will love this one.
And our weapons are very diverse visually. Each one has a unique design and history. Just by looking at the weapon, you can tell where the maker found the parts. At a military base, a museum, a repair garage.
Exactly. It's exactly like that in the game. When you pick the weapon, you instantly realize
Esses detalhes,
if it was cobbled together in a street,
eles fazem toda a diferença.
Or maybe made by factions where they have access to
pega
welding and steel
arma,
equipment.
você pode construir através de lixo e você reconhecer isso é interessante pra caramba do que você de repente estar numa base militar e conseguir construir uma arma a partir daquilo.
Isso vai gerar diferenças em gameplays também.
Like defensive ones,
Isso
let's say improving quality of your handle,
ideias muito boas.
or offensive ones like improving the tip or the blade itself. So I don't think that right now we would have time to talk in details about that, But in December, you'll all be able to add an effect to your favorite weapons, such as fire, freeze, electricity.
Shimon, let's stop here. Let's leave something for the players to discover. So let's end here. And guys, thank you for joining me. Before I talk with my last guests, I would like to invite you to participate in our UGC contest. Especially you, Gamescom viewers, we are waiting for your submissions. And if you are thinking about competing in the cosplay category, you will want to hear this one. Let me present to you the grand jury that will be choosing the best cosplays of the Dying Light 2 characters. Welcome, Irina Meyer.
Caramba, manja muito disso.
Narga and Aoki, and Enginite.
Ela também.
And of course, fingers crossed for you, our community. Let the best cosplay win. Check our website for more details.
Só os monstros dos crossplay, mano.
My last
Crossplay não,
guest will
cosplay.
explain
Crossplay
how
não,
the
cosplay.
city itself affects combat and movement. Michał Dudziak, game designer. Hello. And Adam Michałowski, senior game
Tô
programmer.
só sentindo que esse episódio ficou muito mais na conversa do que no... Até porque o trailer foi
There's
repeteco.
this saying that when you really want to achieve something, the whole world aligns to help you. And basically, that's what is happening in Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Exactly. Based on the player choices, the world is literally changing and helping you to achieve your goals in combat or exploration. For example, the gameplay will be totally different depending on which factions you support, the survivors or the peacekeepers.
Okay, but can you give us more
Já ouvi falar disso aí em
The differences
Cyberpunk,
between
hein?
the factions define how each group can help us. For example, the survivors keep to the roofs and trying to avoid the danger on the ground.
Ambos são
For
poloneses.
building, they use mostly
Sabe,
light materials like wood or scraps, and they can provide you a various amount of parkour helpers, such as amortizers, trampoline,
Ué?
or ziplines. This can change the way how we parkour through the city.
Parque de
On
diversões
the other
para quem
hand,
faz
we have
parkour.
peacekeepers, the post-military
É que
guys
dependendo da
literally
facção, eles vão
keep their
espalhar
feet
coisas
on the
pra
ground.
você.
And for building, they use totally different materials, heavy objects, metal, or even in explosives. And this can give you a new combat opportunities.
Um parece que é focado em
car
combate
bombs,
e o outro em parkour.
heavy traps, or even a new type of a ranged weapon.
Yeah, and what's important is that we don't need to remain loyal to just one
O
faction.
jogo tem
The city
competição
is
de
divided into
cosplay,
several
Cartman,
zones,
por causa dos personagens que já foram
in each of
apresentados.
them, the players can decide with whom they want to side. So while progressing through the storyline, you're able to shape the world to fit your vision and needs.
Okay, but we know already that humans are active during the day and monsters come out during the night. But let's reveal more. What are the other differences?
Well, monsters attack mostly in groups, and they instinctively take advantage of the numbers. So to defend yourself, you have to keep your head on a swivel. Monsters don't use special tactics, but it doesn't mean they are easy. They push forward, so you have to be clever to avoid getting cornered. And to win, you have to stay active, move a lot, and learn to abuse their unique weaknesses. And
Mas
explosive
isso
traps
é
might
igual
come
ao
in handy.
primeiro, né?
É.
Okay, and what about humans?
They use increasingly more complex behaviors. As the game progresses, defeating human enemies and monsters will become more and more challenging. But unlike monsters, people cooperate. So while fighting them, we need to closely observe not only individuals, but also the whole group. And of course, there are many more unique subtleties to both humans and monsters, but I think we should let the players discover them on their own.
Well, okay, that's a good idea. But all of that
Não, o cara
sounds
pediu pra ele
very
revelar
juicy,
mais,
so
mas não
let's
teve
end here.
revelação.
Guys, thank you for joining me. That's almost all for today. You learned
Olha.
a lot about parkour and combat in Dying Light 2. We showed you that parkour is not just a tool for
Eu acho
exploration.
que já não vai ter mais nada novo, vamos já começar a comentar aqui. Eu achei que pudesse ter sido melhor, assim, os episódios até agora foram muito legais porque eles apresentavam coisas boas e bons trailers, e dessa vez eles requentaram, né, porque mostraram isso na Gamescom. A gente vai lançar o episódio também, lançar o vídeo também no nosso canal, porque a gente não fez o react do trailer do Dying Light, mas, assim, não teve o impacto que deveria ter, né.
É, eu acho que acho que o importante... Eu gosto também de saber das coisas, de informações, de ter ali mais até quando a gente vai gravar alguma coisa, assim, conhecer um pouco mais do jogo e tal, das ideias novas, eu acho muito interessante, e eu, inclusive, cobro isso, né, falo, poxa, quando não existir trailer para mostrar, passe informações, então eu seria incoerente de falar que é uma coisa que eu não gosto, mas na verdade eu gosto, porque eu acho importante. Mas eles poderiam trazer pelo menos alguma coisa diferente do que foi mostrado ontem. Um trailer estendido, alguém jogando por alguns minutos, né? 2, 3 minutos.
Mostrando um pouco mais desse combate pra valer, né?
Mostrando um combate, um boss, uma boss fight, assim e tal. Tipo, jogando mesmo. O cara mostrando pra ele né, no controle como faz. Mas no geral, eu gostei das informações que eles passaram.
Eu achei que foi um pouco mais abaixo do que poderia. Bom, comentem aí o que vocês acham deste episódio 3 do Dying to Know, que eu acho que tem que continuar fazendo, eu acho legal, mas tem que ser melhor aproveitado.
É isso aí, então já aproveita, deixa seu like, compartilha esse vídeo e até a próxima, valeu.
Valeu.